Right. I'll put this in if you keep messing about. I'll put the messy bit in. It's like working with children, like working with monkeys. Right! Okay. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of the CrossFit Tailored Training Podcast. Still hasn't got a name yet, but hopefully we'll define one of them in the next couple of weeks. I'm Mark Telford, one of the members and general clingers on at CrossFit TT, and to my right I've got Mick Williamson and John Lee Lydon, the co-owners and head coaches of TT. So, firstly, let's start with where we're at in the box. So, we've just started the next 6-week block of programming. So John Lee, tell us a little bit about what the members have got in store over this block.
Once I get my seat to correct itself, because I just keep turning towards you. 6-week block, guys, we're looking at front squats. So the squat movement will be a front squat. We're trying to build up through the weeks to build towards a 2-rep max. This week, being your first week, we looked at a set of 10, set of 8, which was uncomfortable, 6, and then 4, and then a 2. As the weeks go on, the bigger sets start to come down a little bit. Then we're going to look at your power clean, but we're going to break the power clean up, initially starting with the clean deadlift, which will help with your first and second pull. Gives people a better understanding of where that bar needs to be moving as you get to the top before using your arms. And then you'll go straight to the power clean from that. And off week 1, we've had some good feedback from week 1, so hopefully by week 6, people will be heading towards a heavy 1 rep if they can. Some might get a personal record, but the aim is to build towards a heavy and a better understanding. We've brought toes to back, it's a new movement coming soon. Toes to bar. We brought that back for the gymnastics side of things. And what we're trying to look at there is, can you get your level of toes to bar under fatigue? So a block a few months ago was about building up the skills of that, but now is testing your skills under fatigue. And for the newer members, obviously you guys have been building up new skills of how to do that movement. And the last upper body movement is push press. So last block was strict press, building up shoulder strength. This month is going to be push press, so it's a bit more explosive, bringing your legs in with your arms. And again, hopefully by the end of the month, people have a better understanding and a stronger lift.
Excellent. And from yourself, Nick, anything in particular that you're looking to see this month? This block.
What is it?
This block, not quite a month. 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's just having a bit of time away from the front squat when we went through like overhead squat, back squat, coming back to the front squat. This is the first week where people are just trying to get used to the movement that little bit more when it's that bit heavier. We've still had it in workouts, but it's started a little bit heavier. So just sort of getting used to the movement, seeing that transition from the strict press to the push press. Can you use your legs? Can you get in a good rack position? Little things like that to just really sort of nail down the members. But it's going on.
Yeah, good. I think those two movements work quite well together in that developing that strong front squat and that strong push press is definitely going to help with things like thrusters and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that they're really important across the whole board. And developing that core strength as well through that front squat. Again, it's a slightly different stimulus to the back squats that we had last month. So I think it should be quite interesting. So hopefully some good results there. And importantly, what we've got on in September, John Lee.
So September, the fast weekend is coming. So we need now names and team names. And once we get them in with t-shirt sizes, we can get them ordered. There'll be a few more details to follow, i.e. when the cut-off date for that is as well. So it's our fifth one of doing it. We want to make it our biggest one, and we're thinking about bringing other people away from the boxing. So if you have any friends or family who are interested in doing it, or they want to make their own team, they can. Skill-wise, there's not a lot of skill levels in it, but it's a lot of togetherness and people working on the machines. So a bit of fitness and creating awareness for the Stroke Association. So we're just needing the names soon as.
Yeah. Big event last year. I think everyone was pretty excited for it last year, especially as coming out of the lockdowns and getting everyone together, and that community feels massive. So it'd be good to see a good number of teams getting themselves booked in, and I think you're right, I think getting some people from outside of the box would be really good. And so what have you got in store for us this year then, mate? For people who haven't done it before, maybe they are outsiders and don't know what the Fast Weekender is, what does it sort of look like?
There's a team of 4, so we would just need one more person to make the A team, and then everyone will be starting on slightly different bits of kit or exercises. So you've got a half marathon on the run, the rower, the ski erg, and then this year it's going to be a marathon on the bike, just to make it up a little bit, because that's normally the shortest, but people were complaining it was too easy, so we thought we'd up it a little bit. And yeah, you just cycle it through, so you might do 30 seconds on one and then move it around, and it's short and fast. That's what you're looking for, just to keep that tempo nice and high. So yeah, it's one where it's definitely one where you need plenty of nutrition when you're coming in, plenty of water, and just try and stop them cramps happening, because a lot of people, when they hit them runs or the last hour of the session, people are starting to cramp up in all parts of different body parts.
Parts of your body you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
But yeah, really exciting, looking forward to that. Again, like John Lee says, all the proceeds from the event go to the Stroke Association, something that's particularly close to TT's heart. So what about outside the box? So first thing, I've worn the Formula t-shirt. The Formula Games is going to be returning to CrossFit tailored training in October, 1st of October. Perfect warm-up for Mick's wedding later that month, but we've got the Formula Games will be returning, so please do save the date and stay tuned on social media, because it's going to look a little bit different to last year. Anything on the Formula from neither of you two?
1st of October. It's going to be the 1st of October.
What did I say?
I don't know. I don't know what you said. You might have said it.
Who knows?
Just 1st of October. Yeah, save the date for the 1st of October. Yeah, we'll
Is this your wedding or the Formula?
No. I'm not getting that date mixed up.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't turn up to the Formula in your suit. That would be no good. We've also got one of the biggest events in the Northeast approaching in September, in the Formula Great North Run. And as we talked about last week with John Johnson doing his ultra marathon, what we're involved in is not just what you're hitting inside here, it's what you guys are doing out there. And we've got loads of people that are doing the Great North Run. And so Mick, am I right in thinking you set up a running group in the run up to this?
Yeah, there's just people wanting to like know program and things like that, and I was hearing it a few times, so I've done it numerous years and experience of running, so I just put it out there, and there was a lot more people who just wanted to jump on, like a little bit of an extra session for running as well. So I've just started a group, and people are just putting on what they're going to do, and I'm going to give them ideas. There's going to be different ways, because everyone runs at a slightly different pace, so I'll be putting ideas in the group to sort of try and keep the group together, to maybe like start or finish together, but it's trying to be accountable to other people as well. So some people were saying, I can't make it there, but I can make it an hour later, and I'll just put on the group that I've done it, and things like that will just make you want to just tick it off really, and just keep the miles in for I think it's 9 weeks to go to the Great North. So
10 weeks of Fast Weekender.
So it's just a week after, so it's good prep for it as well.
Perfect. And lastly, talking about outside the box, just wanted to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Rachel Furness from Washington, who has represented Northern Ireland last night in the first ever major European tournament for Northern Ireland. Unfortunately, the result didn't necessarily go the way that they wanted, but nevertheless, it's a huge step forward for that country. So well done to Rachel and her teammates for their achievement of getting to the European Championships. So if you are from the area, do tune in, watch the Northern Ireland Games, and give them that little bit of extra support. So, on to the main topic for today. So, again, similar to last week, I thought it was important that we start at the beginning. So, we talked a bit about what CrossFit is and why we should do it, but I thought we'd delve into that a little bit deeper and talk about the 3 main areas that we focus on within CrossFit and get into a little bit more detail. So John, if you'd like to take us away.
Yeah, there's 3 parts that we tend to focus on, which will be metabolic conditioning, and there's also lifting and gymnastics. So throughout the week or the months or the block or whatever we're doing, we always try to have different variations between the 3. So it could literally just be one of the disciplines, it could be 2, it could be 3, and that's the constantly varied with CrossFit. Everyone, if you type into Google, the first thing you'd probably see would be someone lifting, but on the pyramid of what CrossFit is, it's one of the smaller aspects. The big aspect being metabolic conditioning, so that's not just running around and getting out of breath, it can be like lighter weights mixed up with running about and things, and that tries to get the body stimulated by making it more conditioned. The gymnastics will come next in line, which is being able to move literally your body. And that's not the fancy stuff of walking on your hands or flicking yourself over a bar. That can be literally doing an air squat, a lunge, a press up, anything like that. Is gymnastics, and then obviously there's always levels above that, there's always levels below that you can go. And then obviously it comes to the weightlifting, so you've got your fundamental ones of the basics of a deadlift or hip hinge, a squat, a press, and then again they'll develop into more explosive movements. So this month we've got cleans, and obviously the push press is another step up from a normal press. So what we try to do within the programming is, can we challenge all of these in different ways? So you could be very, very good at, for example, running, but when we get the run mixed in with, say, a bike and a pull-up and then run, can your body still cope the same way as it would normally, and vice versa? If you're good at lifting and we throw in the bike, can you still do the lifts efficiently as you normally would?
Yeah, and I think one of the things as well is that, like Johnny says, it's not just about walking on your hands like you see the videos of the games athletes doing. It's all about that movement when it comes to gymnastics. And I know that Mick, on a Monday night you run obviously the gymnastics class, so I thought it might be a good time for you to tell us a bit about what goes on in them specifically.
Yeah, so it just gives you a bit more time to work on these areas as well. So we're looking at sort of pull-up work, because it's not in the main block, but just making it a bit more of a focus in the classes, and handstand walks and some press work as well. So it's just some people are just getting upside down, getting used to kicking up against the wall. Some people are learning the handstand walk, some people are on a course going up some plates or round following PVC pipes. So everyone's just trying to challenge everyone in that hour. So it's on a Monday night, 7:30, so it is a little bit later, but it's worth popping along.
Definitely. And then obviously as well, like John says, you've got that Olympic lifting in, and while that filters into the programming, you've got the lifting, and while that filters into kind of every class that we do, there's also the Olympic lifting side of things, so slightly more complex movements. And we've got a class that's tailored for them on a Sunday, so I thought now a good time for John to maybe speak about that to those people who maybe haven't delved into the Olympic lifting side of things.
Yeah, so the Olympic lifting will it's a bit more of a relaxed class, so there's no WOD or anything at the end of it. It's just purely focusing on an Olympic lifting movement, so we break it all the way down and then build it back up again, and then on that day build towards, for example, Sunday just gone, we went through snatch balance, then we went through a high hand squat snatch, and then we built that into a heavier lift for the day for a squat snatch. So because we built it up, it gives you a little bit more time to focus just on the movement, and we hit a couple of PBs on the day as well. So it just gives you the Olympic lifting class just as a focus, just for that lift. There's no other element on it, and we've got that there for the people who will want to improve that, which in turn, fitness and health wise, they'll bring that into class, which will make them more efficient, meaning they'll be able to move quicker and get more results from that.
So for you personally, Mick, of those 3 elements, which one would you say you find your real strength lies? Metacon.
But that's just like, this is where you'll have in CrossFit, you'll have something where you'll see a workout after you've done it for a while, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to be alright at that, or I'm going to be, like say me and John, there's like certain things that I know John's going to favour and then I'm not.
Yeah.
And there's it's that knowing that knowledge of it.
It's hard on the road with those short levers, like, isn't it?
Well, I look quite tall, yeah.
Yeah, so it's trying to work on your weaknesses a little bit. So if I went to a comp pretty much every day of the week, my weakness is going to be the Olympic lifting or the lift element of it. When you look on the scoreboard across the 4 WODs or 5 WODs, it's always the Olympic lifting that highlights is like right at the bottom. But I know it's something I need to work on, but it's just some boys are big boys.
Right, big lads.
That's the beauty of CrossFit though. You'll take a box on one of these 3 that you'll enjoy the most, and the other 2 you'll be, oh god, I can't believe they've come with it. But that's the whole part of like learning and that togetherness of people, where you can train with someone who's really, really strong, and you might be really good at Metacon, like Mick, and you're both training together, and at some point that strong person will have their moment, so to say, and then obviously Mick will have his. But what's it like when you mix them together with say through a gymnastics in the middle of that? What would they be like? I think that's the beauty of it. You're going to get good days and bad days with it.
And I think for me, that's one of the things as well that's like quite important, and that I see as a member as much as anything. You'll see certain days where it's got a certain class and the attendance might be a little bit lower, because people tend to get a little bit scared of things that they don't like, and maybe can sometimes, should we say, cherry pick some of the workouts, and I think it's really important to, like, say, build the confidence and reduce your weaknesses as well as it is to maximise your strengths. That's certainly something that I see. Like today, Mick was bullying me because my overhead's not my strongest area, and so I can sometimes talk myself out of something before picking the bar up, and then sometimes having that coach present say, "Well, hang on a second, mate, you can definitely do more than that." Is really important, and I think that goes back to something we talked about last week about that. You can go away and do something on your own, but doing it in that class environment with someone there watching you and helping and pushing you is, I think, really important aspect to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's them workouts where you want to shy away from as well, but then you're like, oh, I'm crap at that, or I'm not very good at it. When was the last time you've done it? And it's like, well, you've avoided it for a month, so it's not going to suddenly just improve. You've got to work on it. It's just like anything. People in the running club, it's like, or the running group, they're just going to try and get into running for the Great North, and some people just join in for, I want to just get out running a little bit more. I need that motivation, I need that push. So it's just realising that, really.
The good thing with it being varied all the time, you're going to get days where you'll want to cherry pick purely because you don't like doing it. But you're not going to get that every day, because it's that varied. It'll have a mixture. Every time you come in, there's something different on the board. Because let's face it, I mean, if you're doing something that you were crap at every single day, more than likely you're not going to turn up at some point. You will leave. But the good thing when it's coached, or we discussed the whiteboard on the last one, is we can modify it. So we had a Metacon day the other day, and we had a lad who come in with an injury who can't run at all, so we just adapted the workout where we took out the run and made it something else, and he still got the same stimulus as everybody else, but he didn't want to come purely because there was a run-in thinking that he couldn't do it. So everything could be modified. Even if it's a weakness, we can modify it. Yesterday's WOD had pull-ups in, which was 21:15.9. I did it with Mick. It was pretty tough, but someone had just learned their pull-ups, and rather than doing jumping pull-ups, what we did, we organised with them to do slightly less pull-ups just to get them in the WOD. They still got the same stimulus and worked on the pull-ups. So it's like everyone has that different thing. We had a member who can't go and do the pull-ups, so instead of pull-ups they did the ski erg. Again, still got the same stimulus, because when you're doing kip and pull-ups you still get out of breath, so the ski erg give them that stimulus, but they're still squatted. So the power of having a coach or the community there pushing you on regardless of the workout you're doing is it's basically what you pay your membership for, really. That's where you get your changes.
100%. I think that's the big difference. Like you say, those you can go to a gym and pay £10 a month and have all the fantastic equipment or whatever it be, but that knowledge is what you're really paying for, and that support and development is what you're really paying for. What about from this week in particular? Has there been anything in the class, any workouts that you've particularly enjoyed, or seen any particular achievements amongst anyone in the gym?
Do you know what it is? Monday is one. Coaching wise, was really good to see. Actually, Monday and Tuesday, but Monday is one. Seeing people with an empty bar, and the whole class at the end just crumbled at the end. It's so humbling to know that an empty bar can get you feeling like that. Because most of the time we're trying to go for 1 minute max or 5 minute max, and then you're seeing a class with an empty bar and increasing the volume and people coming in. So it was like. It's a bit like, but it was good to see, and it's an eye opener for people to see that. And then on the other side on Tuesday, it was just all out go for a minute, which is a typical CrossFit WOD. And personally, doing that one, training that one was hard, but I enjoyed it at the end of it.
That was a good workout. That was for those of you who didn't do it. There was a 1 minute on, 1 minute off. With power cleans and then max rep burpee over the bar. John Lee only liked it because he won.
Little fellas are good at burpees, that's all I'm saying. But it was harder, wasn't it?
Really
like by the time you got
really
to round
hard.
4 and 5, it was more in your head than.
It was good to see people cycling the bar and weights that they didn't think they would be able to do as well. So it gets into your mind a little bit of like, oh, actually I can do that. So whatever came up, you might hold on that little bit longer to the bar because you've done it in the past, or you're sort of forced into it a little bit because you wanted that 40 seconds really for your burpees to either smash them or just try and work through them really.
I mean, if you were to say to people right at the beginning of the class, you're going to do 50 power cleans and you're going to try to do them unbroken, obviously 10 each round. It's mind-blowing what the human body can do, and it was great just seeing people going, oh, I hit like 50 reps with whatever weight the lift is, and then threw themselves over a bar after it. So it was good. Tuesday was really enjoyable to see and obviously to do. But the humbling one obviously was Monday as a coach when we programmed that. It was a bit of an eye opener watching people with an empty bar. It was just quite good to watch.
Anything in particular from you, Mick?
I think it was just good getting in and getting the basics for people again, getting the basics back for cleans and things like that. So some people are just losing that setup a little bit. So I was just focusing on the start of the block, just stripping them down a little bit. Just start with the feet, start with the hand position, like where's your setup position, and that was setting them off in this block in the right way. So if you missed it, just try and pull us when you're next in, and we'll get your set right, and that will make a massive difference for balance when you're going in that first and second pull.
Yeah, that clean deadlift side of things. I personally enjoy doing deadlift. I'm strong at deadlift, but that slight difference in that positioning for that clean, I find that really useful, and sort of really focusing on that side of things. I think, being able to have that time to break it down and strip it back, because we as humans do get lazy, like as we get older and we do things in more efficient ways and look for shortcuts, but really in those fundamentals there's a lot to them, so being able to dedicate that time to them is really, I think was really good. Anything else on any of those things from you two?
What was in the
just that, the Metacon side of things, the Olympic lifting side of things, and the gymnastics side of things that you want to add on today.
We always put a Metacon class in. Every week we put it on a different day. We do have a class that's dedicated to it on a Monday, but we do put it in the programming on a different day, and that's purely so we're not just lifting weights. Because if you think of health, like your heart, your lungs, all of that health, because without that we can't really function anyway. It's good to challenge that. And this week we did like a 40-minute AMRAP, actually, we're heading towards fast weekend. Don't forget September, we need teams and names. So it was a challenge, because that's pretty much going to be the format of it, and to try to challenge it. And we always the classes tend to be a bit busier on a Metacon. Even people who hate Metacon still come. We get a good vibe from it, and it's more to give the case. You can attack it two ways. You can attack it by, if that's your day of training and it lands on your day, you attack it. But if it lands on a day where you need a bit of a rest, which we all need rest, that'll be another conversation we'll have on the podcast as well. You can go steady away, and it can flush the muscles out ready for the next day of what it is, because we can't go absolutely hell for leather every session, and you shouldn't go hell for leather every session. So the Metacon classes, that comes every week. We've thrown that in. That's not like something CrossFit do, it's just something that TT we like to do, mainly to keep that up, because if you're more conditioned CV wise, cardiovascular wise, you're going to be able to keep other things going anyway.
Definitely.
And Mick's good at it.
Mick loves it.
I hate doing it with Mick.
Yeah. Long levers. Yeah, we all hate doing it with Rad as well, to be fair.
That's another level.
It's only because they talk.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's all it's
Nothing
not
to do with fitness.
Nothing else.
Just
at all.
height.
Excellent. So, obviously this is our second one. We're trying a few different things on the technology front, and hopefully it'll improve every time we go. So again, we appreciate any of your feedback. We also had our first question in from one of our members, and that's something that we'll look to delve into going forward. But if you've got any other questions, please do send them in. We'll start to collate them, and we'll start to put them together and come back to you with the answers on there. And we thought, with it being our second episode and the launch of something new, we'd run a little competition today for anyone who's listening. So you'll have to have listened to the whole episode in order to get here. But there's going to be a little prize on the competition, which will be a Kanonoko, an Alpha Bar, and a little CrossFit TT towel, as modelled by the beautiful John Lee over there. So, John Lee, can you take it away with the question, please?
On the 1st of August is CrossFit TT's anniversary. The question is, what year is it? How many years?
2022.
No. Right, take two. On the 1st of August 2022 is the anniversary of CrossFit Taylor Training, but how many years have we been going?
Nailed it.
In one.
Nailed it. In one.
Cheers, lads.
Can't get the stuff these days, can you?
Couldn't have got any better.
So,
Right at the end, should we start again?
So there's your question. Please send your answers in. We'll collate all the correct answers. We'll put them in a hat, and then on the future episode we'll do a draw, and we will see who gets the prize. So I think that's everything from us for today. I hope you've enjoyed listening in, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you very much.